Welcome, everyone. Welcome to episode 12, the season finale of the Straight Outta BPS Podcast with Rudy and Jamari. As usual, I am Rudy Looters, and on this journey with me is the one and only.
Jamari Jones, everybody.
How you doing today, Jamari?
I'm doing good, man. I am doing great. We are out of school, baby. I am so happy.
I don't know why I'm snapping. I'm still working. But yeah, it just even though I'm still working through the summer, it just feel good. I know what you're feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm excited.
Me too.
So just to get the formalities out the way, like just want to say thank you everyone for listening. Thank you for joining us here today or whenever you're listening to this episode. Um, please continue to support us. You can do that by easily, sharing this podcast with a family member or friend or a fellow educator. You can also listen to us on all streaming platforms: Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, and every platform where we're everywhere. So
Yeah.
thank you, and thank you for your continued support.
Yeah, I definitely want to echo that. Thank you. Um, it's the season finale. We are excited. We appreciative. Um,
Did you say season finale?
yeah,
Yo.
no, it just I feel like we've learned a lot. We've tried something. It feels good because we talk about this for a long time.
Yeah.
Then we finally did it, and then to complete the first season,
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm happy with this journey. I'm
Mhm.
excited for what's to come more. So yeah, yeah,
Yeah, me too, man.
yeah,
I think it's been such an incredible feeling, and just to see something grow into fruition
yeah,
and to actually, see it grow into
yeah,
something is dope.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Before we dive into our last episode and some reflection we're gonna have, I just gonna say, bro, happy Juneteenth.
Yo, happy Juneteenth, baby.
Celebrate Juneteenth. You know, I just wanted to ask you. I like to know for us to answer the question. What does Juneteenth means to you, to us? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Um, it means, and I'm gonna be honest, I never really
yeah,
like celebrated
yeah.
Juneteenth like that until these past like 3 years.
Same,
Um,
same.
yeah, and so like it means like to me it means togetherness,
Mm,
standing on one accord, and also celebrating ourselves, and
yeah,
also our history, the good and the bad,
yeah,
because it has made us who we are today,
definitely.
but also it just shows we are resilient people, and we're gonna continue to stand together. But what I really like, is definitely like togetherness, and like
Yeah,
people are happy celebrating,
yeah,
and like people are happy to be in their skin. You know what I mean?
yes, yes, definitely.
Um, so and then for Biden, I know this is not enough, but just for it to be recognized as a holiday,
Yeah,
um, I don't know, it does a lot for me. There's definitely more work that needs to be done,
yeah,
but overall,
yeah.
I feel I'm happy.
Yeah. I think for me, I go back to joy is an act of resistance.
Hmm.
For a long time, we've been through so much, right? But it kind of feel like whenever there's joy, we kind of ashamed of being happy because we still going through a lot, and it's like
Right.
we're allowing ourselves to be happy. And like you're saying, this being a national holiday, it's not the end all be all, but it's still we're still coming that togetherness and that togetherness like resisting and togetherness. I go back to how much identity we lost,
Mm-hmm.
and there's identity in togetherness.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like reclaiming a piece of your identity.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, for me personally, Juneteenth, like, it just personally means like challenging myself and get out of my comfort zone and challenging myself to do more things that I would I wouldn't do out of fear,
Mm-hmm.
and just that, you know, um have fun, try things, and like, be the best version of myself that day, and try to be the best version of myself the next day than I was the day before, if I'm making sense. But
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't know at first. It's I remember, was it in 2019? Not 2019. On 2018, we had a staff meeting at my work. It was on Juneteenth. And then I was like, why am I here today?
Mm.
And I studied and I told him, yo, I will not be at work on Juneteenth anymore.
Yeah.
The following year, I wasn't at work, and then we had COVID, and then
Yeah.
now it's a holiday. So,
Yeah.
I speak it into existence.
Right. Right.
But something wasn't sitting right for me having a staff meeting on Juneteenth. Like, I'm like, you know,
Yeah.
yeah. So, yeah, I'm excited. There was a lot of event, a lot of activity.
Yeah.
Um, while we
The
celebrate
community was popping, man.
the togetherness, the community,
Yeah.
while we are celebrating those things, like, we are celebrating the fact that the slave owner from Texas didn't want to let go. Uh, of we don't release the slave, so they had to be forced to let the slave go. So we connected it back to education piece, like,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of white supremacy, white power. How do we dismantle that with our education system and
Right.
bring joy, black joy,
Yeah.
at the center of our education system?
Yeah.
So we have a lot of work to do. It's a celebration, but we gotta get back to it. So I'm excited for the work we're gonna do, for the contribution. Yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah. I'm excited, bro.
Yeah.
One thing that you said that I thought was dope is that searching for our identity, man.
Yeah.
I think with that, so many of us um don't know who we are,
Hmm.
and especially with Black or African Americans or Black people, because it has we have been so far removed, and
Yeah.
um our slave owners have tried to wash away that and like kind of whitewash us. And sometimes I feel like that plays a role in sometimes, like, us killing each other because we don't know
Mm.
where we come from, and we don't
Yeah.
know our identity and how connected we are in real life.
Definitely.
So I'm happy that you said that, because I was actually reading a book the other day, and it was talking about, spiritual identity.
Yeah.
But I started thinking about my racial identity,
Yeah.
where, like, do I actually know where I come from, and
Yeah.
what that means, and how it connects to right now and what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Um, so, and I hope everyone takes that time to go through that journey and like
Yeah.
appreciate Juneteenth for what it really is.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Um, as in our last episode of season finale, we have a couple questions that we're gonna answer.
Yeah.
We're gonna go through. So, like, just like our first intro episode, we have a couple question. So we're gonna brush some question, because for us, we talked about doing this for a long time,
Hmm.
and like, we're at different space in our life. For some reason, it didn't happen, but this year we made it happen, so we are happy. And one of the reasons why there was a lot of fear in doing, like, knowing that if you were the right person,
Yeah.
doing enough. So the question is, what is something that you did not know that you know now through this podcast, Jamar?
So something I didn't know that I know now. There's two things. One of them is like how to edit. Yo, I
Yeah,
did not know how to edit like
yeah,
podcasts, but like it was challenging, but I have so much respect for like what people do as far as like
yeah.
podcasts. It's hard work, man.
It is.
It's definitely hard work. Like a funny moment, like one time I was editing it like late at night and like I was like so tired and like I don't know what I did, but I forgot to save it and I lost the whole thing, bro. Because this was before we started doing segments.
Ooh,
So I used to edit it all the way through
all
and
the way through.
I had to re-edit the whole podcast. I
Oh,
didn't tell you that.
wow. Wow.
It was
Wow.
crazy. So
Wow.
that's one of the
Wow.
things. And another thing that, something I didn't know how receptive, people would be. Um, and like going through it and having a podcast and, doing episodes, um, people want to hear this.
Yeah.
And thank you for everyone that, just encouraged us along the way and helped us and connected us to resources and people. Um, I was not expecting that, man. I
Yeah.
was not expecting it. But it was dope. It was dope.
Yeah. For me is the editing part. I mean, um, I did some video edit, but briefly on iMovie, but this was a more level. So from watching like YouTube, man, is
Yeah.
watching a lot of YouTube and figuring this out. It's a lot of time consuming, and also like from transition, learning transition,
Hmm.
it's hard. Or when you cut, how it affect everything. Um, yeah, it was definitely a learning experience for everything, and also we each one of us have podcasts we listen to. We try to get ideas from those,
Hmm.
but there was a time like when we like started like using our own creativity and things. I like, let's do this. I'm like, oh yeah, like I like the way things going.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, it was I think for me it's the whole experience, like um from the editing to the posting to the timing of the posting.
Yeah.
I mean, what day to post, how often we need to. We went back and forth, how often we gotta do this because we got a job, like
Right. Right.
like we want to do this, but we also like hey, we need a livelihood. So how often and the timing, and then what I appreciate is like how flexible we both were to each other
Yeah.
because we both have busy lives. And that comes from the chemistry we have with each other.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and yeah, just I think it's the whole editing process
Yeah.
overall was just like not that and no, um, yeah,
I
yeah,
feel that.
yeah,
Um, I definitely feel like the same. Yo, the editing process was crazy.
yeah,
I don't know how YouTubers and like you know
yeah,
like people do it, but I mean, I respect them so much more for that.
yeah, yeah,
Um, I can ask the next one.
yeah.
What is one way you grew?
Well, editing the podcast, I hate listening to the sound of my voice.
Mm,
I hate it, and I think that's what made it harder in the beginning.
hmm.
But I feel like that's how I'm trying to challenge myself and being fearless. Like, I still don't like it, but I am like I'm more in a place mindset where I can listen to it. And also my confidence, like, it was crazy because if you remember, I mean, I still do. I have to do something with my hand.
Mm-hmm.
It talks about like how nervous I am, but it's more control thing. So I have something in my hand right now. But I was very because I was afraid of saying something wrong.
Mm.
Then I'm like, and I was afraid of not knowing.
Mm-hmm.
But but the thing about it, when we brought this podcast together because we were having this conversation and stuff we wanted to do came from those conversations.
Yeah.
And there was never a time we said we were expert. So I had to remind myself that
Mm-hmm.
we're learning. So I had to like, yo, I'm not supposed to be an expert. I am learning. And I was learning, like, um, it's learning to make proactive action.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so as once I'm like, okay, we doing our research, and stuff. So yeah, it was the confidence grew.
Yeah.
What about you?
For me, I think I grew in a way where similar to you, like I'm able to express my thoughts,
Yeah,
and not worry about there being consequences for it.
yeah,
I think oftentimes in my line of work, I have to be careful of how I say things
yeah,
and like, you know, politicking sometimes.
yeah, yeah,
You know what I mean? Just to keep everyone kind of happy and stuff. And I feel like on this podcast, like I in the beginning, I was like, I can't say certain things because
hmm
I don't want to ruffle any feathers, but it's just like, why not, man? Like, it's we're supposed to be change makers and creating change and
hmm
having open dialogues. And we can't do that if we're always sugarcoating everything.
yes,
And so that's like one thing. And even for me personally, this is me being vulnerable. Sometimes I don't always say things what I mean, what I want to say because I'm worried about hurting feelings anyway.
yeah,
So this was kind of like an outlet for me to like practice that skill.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
definitely
Um,
understand.
and then also to have that open dialogue. So
Yeah.
I feel like this podcast helped me grow in that sense.
I mean, I remember because we talk a lot behind the scene, like, hey, like, should we do this? Like, should we do this? Like, because
Yeah.
it's like trying to figure out how do you be revolutionary. Like,
But also appeal to the masses.
I appeal to the masses, but
Yeah.
also you don't want to lose your job.
Yeah.
Like, it was definitely hard because let me be clear. We were as blunt as possible. We're not perfect.
Yeah.
So there was no, yo, let me be that way, let me be that way. It's just like we still stay true to ourselves while saying stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
yeah, I would say that's accurate.
Yeah. 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 So we were, like you were saying, we were both on um most major platform, audio or visual.
Yep.
So we take a look at some of the numbers, and we have the top two of the most watch and listen episode.
So the top two most watched episodes were intentionality and representation.
Yeah.
And the second one was intro part one.
Yeah. Intro
Yeah.
part one, yeah. That intentionality representation was
It was lit.
it was lit.
Yeah.
I still remember. Oh my God, the whole conversation.
Tanisha and Jihad.
Yeah, thank you. Shout out to y'all.
Yeah.
That was a dope conversation. Um,
I,
yeah,
I think I think that really set I think that was like a defining moment episode for us. Like I saw that, yo, this can really be something.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah. And talking as we talked earlier about like saying stuff and be afraid of losing your job, like those are like they could have been easily, yo, I don't want to do this, but I like how revolutionary they were saying
Yeah.
were and saying stuff, and yeah, it was dope.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think like you said, they weren't like rude or mean about it, but they were very blunt on how they felt about the system and the way that they became educators and what they wanted for their students and
yeah,
families. Um and that was for me like I was just like, yo, I need to just say what I feel and not be apologetic about it because it's my feelings.
yeah. I still remember some of the things. They say like even for jihad is that's also, I think I said his name, jihad.
Hmm.
Um, when he said, I think he said something along like the hardest thing is knowing when something is wrong. It's
Yeah,
part of it, which kind
yeah.
of connect to like how much can you challenge the system while
Hmm.
you're part of it and not face the repercussion.
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah,
That sticks with you, man.
it sticks.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So what was our most listened
So our most listened to was
so
survive.
far? So far,
So far, yes,
so
so
far,
far.
so far. Yeah,
Surviving the Pandemic, episode 2,
yeah.
and then intentionality and representation. Um,
Again, yeah.
again, yeah.
So intentional representation was the most number one and the most watched so far, and
Hmm.
number two on the most listened so far.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, yeah, definitely a dope episode. So if you haven't catch it, we definitely understand the people we talk to. We know people are busy the way they catch the podcast. So
Hmm.
yeah, so um, now that
So
yeah,
so surviving the pandemic, like that was just I love that episode.
yeah, we had a student.
Yep.
Who else? We had
We had Randy.
oh yeah, a
Uh,
counselor, and
yep.
we had a parent, Christina.
Yep.
Shout out to y'all. Um, yeah,
That was just hearing their perspectives was great. I thought it also set the tone for the podcast.
mm,
And it was just very involved, man. It was cool. It was cool.
yeah,
We
yeah,
were we were definitely, I felt like we were in a groove. Um yeah, man. I love that those episodes.
I did too. I did too.
So if you haven't listened or watched those episodes,
You got time.
pause this. Go listen to it right
Listen,
now.
yes, I love this. Yeah. Um,
So I got you with the next one. What was something that was unexpected?
it's two things.
Yeah.
So when we were planning, like the whole planning, um, mind you, like we started planning this podcast, um, August or July last year.
Dang, bro. I think it was July. Yeah.
Yeah, July, because we had talked. If you though if you haven't, so catch the first episode to find out how we got back on track to start this podcast
Yep.
in July, and then we were supposed to start in the fall, September, but we had some issue, and then we ended up starting in January. But when we were planning, we wanted to bring students. We want to bring students. So we're trying to amplify voices.
Mm-hmm.
Student, parent, teacher, staff, everyone. And also we wouldn't bring official politician on it. What I did not expect that we will have all those politicians.
I know.
I did not. It just showed the power, you missed 100% of the shot you don't take.
Yeah.
We did not expect to have so many yes.
Right.
Like, let's just ask.
And that goes to show, right? And this is a learning moment for it.
And we're not done.
No, we're not done. And it was a learning moment for us, but also for people that are listening. Like, all you have to do is ask, man.
Ask.
That's it. So if you have something that you want to do and you haven't done it yet, like, just do it. Like, everything will come together.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that. And then the second part, and I think that, so you told me that, and then somebody I collaborate with from a different organization in Cambridge told me that, and y'all were talking about the same person.
Yes.
And someone out there was using a podcast in the classroom.
Yeah.
We thank you. We did not expect that.
Yes.
We wanted that, we built it for that, but with that, we didn't expect that so soon. So
yeah.
Thank you.
Definitely thanks. That was gonna be my thing. That
okay.
You know, I knew that we had something special.
Yeah.
But my biggest unexpected moment was when one of the counselors, she was a counseling intern. She said that she used one of our podcasts in her like presentation or class discussion or something like that. And I was just taken back, that it was being used in that way. And I'm just like, that's awesome. And that's what we want. And also, how many emails and texts that I've gotten saying like, thank you for giving me that perspective, especially from the intentionality and representation. There were some people that identify as white, or that are Black, and just was like, yo, thanks for having me seen. Like, I feel seen from that episode, or like, I didn't know that, people of color felt that way in the education system. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was unexpected, but also made me feel like, yo, we're doing our due diligence and our job correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So what is your best behind the scene moment during the first season?
The best behind the scene moment. I forget. We were at your house.
I got one. This dude was sing. He was sing before we start recording. Jamari. Yo.
It's a ritual.
And then you got me into singing. I don't know. I thought, what are we doing? Yo.
It was
some footage. We'll probably put it together.
Nah, man.
We may have some footage, but yeah. Us dealing with the board every time.
Oh yes, that was crazy. So we would when we would record at his house, we have this board that we connect to, like, connect the mics and stuff.
Yeah.
And we record like every 2 weeks, something like that. And like during those 2 weeks that we were off, we would forget how to connect the computer and the board. So it would take us like
no, come on, don't do us like that. We knew how to connect. We forget how to make the sound come out.
Yeah, how the sound to come out. into the computer so we could record. So it would take us legit like an hour or two
just to figure that out.
And then we would break, eat, and go back.
Woo. I remember you had to call one of your friends, and shout out to her.
Yo, shout out to Anissa.
If she didn't come through that time,
shout out to Anissa.
Yeah. No, that was so dope. We have so many more. Oh my God. Yeah, it was definitely fun.
Yep.
Yeah. Which goes into bloopers. So we're gonna have some, we gotta put some bloopers moment together. Man. So, people to see. But Jamari singing is definitely.
Yeah, one of the bloopers when I kept misreading, like we were recording one episode, and legit I could not say a word right, and we had to continue to re-record it.
Yeah.
That was crazy. That was funny.
That's funny.
That was funny.
Yeah. So what's your hope for season 2, bro?
Dang, man. I guess my hope for season 2 is that we continue to reach more people, students, continue to have fruitful conversations, not just for putting out episodes, and also to grow a little bit, man. I would love to see us grow. I think we have grown a healthy amount as far as like good pacing for the type of podcast we are. And even if we don't, man, it's just it's good to put out fruitful conversations, knowing that someday people will go back and listen to this and like be affected, in a positive way.
Same. I'm just excited for where we're going, especially that we're in election year for mayor. Just affect the things we do. So I'm excited for us to be more politically savvy, because everything we do is political.
Yeah.
And to show up, to be more involved alumni community. So yeah, I'm excited for all that. So I can't wait for season 2. Yeah.
I can't wait for some merch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have we're gonna regroup. We have a lot of ideas.
Yeah.
We have some more interview coming.
Yes.
Can't say, but we have some good interview coming.
Right.
So yeah, we'll see you guys in season 2.
Yes, sir. Straight out of BPS
Podcast.